Hello everyone and welcome to the Cisco Support Community. Today we present a live Cisco Support Community Expert Series webcast. During our event today, our topic will be CiscoWorks Prime LAN Management Solution, Implementation, Configuration, and Troubleshooting. My name is Dan Gerson and I am the Program Manager for the Cisco Support Community here at Cisco. Our expert joining me today is Vinod Arya, a high-touch technical support engineer in Cisco's focused technical support organization working on network management system products and technologies. Welcome, Vinod.
Hello, everyone.
Now I'd like to briefly outline the format for today's Expert Series event. Vinod will start with a short presentation on Cisco Prime for the first 60 minutes of the program, and then we will dive into the live question submission for the remainder of the event. During our live presentation, you may submit questions to be answered by Vinod and a team of Cisco technical experts using the Q&A box on the right side of the console. The team of technical experts is well-versed in CiscoWorks Prime LAN management solutions, so please begin posting your questions now to give us the best chance of answering them. If you experience any technical issues, please post those questions into the chat. We'll be asking polling questions during today's webcast, and we highly encourage you to participate by answering them. You can also follow along via the PDF presentation, and you can download that by using the link in the chat window. Now, let's kick things off today with our first polling question. What is your exposure and experience with network management with Cisco Prime LAN management solutions? Is it A, I'm a beginner in NMS and have little or no experience with Cisco Prime LMS? Is it B, I have vast experience with network management tools but limited experience with Cisco Prime? C, I'm an experienced network administrator with basic and or running knowledge of Cisco Prime LMS? Or D, I'm running Cisco Prime LMS in production and I have in-depth knowledge. Please take a moment to answer. Don't forget, you can submit your questions at any time. We will reserve those questions and we will answer them later in the broadcast during the Q&A portion. Now I'd like to hand over the mic to Vinod, who will begin his presentation on Cisco Prime. Vinod?
Hello, everyone. This is Vinod Arya from HTTS NMS team, and I welcome and thank everyone for joining this webcast. So today we'll be going through a technical dive with the Cisco Prime LMS, which many of you know with the name of CiscoWorks, which it used to known as in the earlier days, and now it is known as Cisco Prime LMS, which is a part of Cisco Prime Enterprise, and now known as Cisco Prime Infrastructure. So I'll be taking you to all the information I would possibly be, and because this is a very short session for 1 hour, and with all the features and functions CiscoWorks have got, it seems like if we add all the drops in making it one feature, it makes it an ocean of network management system. So we'll see how much we can cover in this ocean today, and I'll continue from here. Please feel free to ask me any questions. Thank you. So just to give you a warning that this is not Cisco Prime Infrastructure, which is a bigger product portfolio, and it includes a lot of other details about wired and wireless. This is just Cisco Prime LMS, which includes details about the wireless part of the enterprise. So our agenda for today would be introduction to Cisco Prime LMS, where I'll be discussing the basics of NMS. I'm sure many of you would be working on the network management system domain for long, but it is always good to have a little refresher of from the beginning. Evolution of Cisco Prime LMS. What is Cisco Prime LMS? And then we'll be continuing with installing Cisco Prime LMS slides, configuring and implementing Cisco Prime LMS, troubleshooting Cisco Prime, and a live demo. So this is the agenda where live demo would be included in the middle of each slide wherever it is required and found. So starting with the introduction of Cisco Prime network management, basics of network management. Cisco Prime LMS deals with a lot of details. I understand that most of the network engineers would be dealing with a lot of networking issues, be it fault management, be it troubleshooting the end host discovery, be it configuring your devices, taking a backup, and checking your devices for compliance. You might have a lot of issues, but it is CiscoWorks which can always be there for a rescue. So there could be a lot of things which a network administrator may be responsible for. So now the technology is growing, technology is evolving. There's a lot of things we need to take care of. So I think network administrators have a lot of things, but here comes LMS for the rescue, where it can manage almost all of almost everything which is required to manage on a network. Cisco Prime LMS it is a complete lifecycle management which is able to discover, manage, monitor, troubleshoot, remediate, and optimize your network. It is a one-stop solution where we will be able to discuss in detail further how it can help you configure your network, manage your network, and keep an eye on everything which is happening. So Cisco Prime LMS, it's a single product for all wired lifecycle needs. As CiscoWorks is still evolving and the network product portfolio as well, so we are integrating the wired and wireless services together, where it will be known as Cisco Prime Infrastructure, which is out of scope for today. So Cisco Prime LMS 4.2 is an integrated suite of functions. So it holds a lot of information about it has a lot of features which can answer all the questions which a business need to suitably manage their network. Be it efficiently managing the network assets, monitoring the configuration changes, identifying policy deviations, proactively monitoring health, connect to communities, improve contract connection, leveraging the best practices, end-to-end visibility. There are so many things it can answer, and that too out of the box. It's just day one ready as soon as you install it on the network. So, apart from the other features which we discussed, CiscoWorks has integrated information about discovery, inventory management, configuration management, monitoring, troubleshooting, compliance, administration. This is just a few features which are available, but the list goes endless. So introduction to NMS, what it is, how it began, when at the early evolution or the dot-com boom, when the networks were expanding, there was a very huge necessity of a network management software which could reduce the human hours put together, so that the devices and the network stays visible, what is happening inside the network, and how we can maintain with full-fledged product optimization. So network management system usually are specialized software intended to monitor essential networking equipment we come across day to day, routing, switching, security, voice, content, optical networking, and it is based on FCAPS model, which is a model defined by ISO for network management modes, which has 5 functional areas. There's one more network management model, TMN, but it is out of scope for us, and hence we'll not be discussing it. So FCAPS basically abbreviates fault management, configuration management, performance management, security management, and accounting. Sometimes the accounting is also known as administration. So Cisco Prime LMS covers almost all the functional areas of AppCaps, which is the most fundamental, networking model a network management software should have, except security, which are also being integrated upon, and the features are integrated, like TrustSec are being integrated with CiscoWorks. So security in itself has a lot of high definition, and it holds a very big functional areas. For example, Cisco ACS, which is Access Control Server, is a very huge software which is dedicated to the security portion of FCAPS. So brief, with this introduction of network, we saw that as the growth of networks started, at the network started growing bigger and bigger, there was a need to reduce the cost in maintaining them and also controlling the network traffic, network technology. And there was a need of so many human hours to be put into and a lot of resources to manage them, where the network management softwares were built. Today, I am very proud to say that CiscoWorks is one of the best network management, which has a lot of features. So the goals of network management is actually to ensure that the users of network receive information technology services with quality of service they expect. So it can also come under the performance management, where people want a specific bandwidth and they want to see if there is no delay in from one source to destination endpoints. So we want to ensure that the strategic and tactical planning of the engineering, operations, and maintenance of a network and its services, and also help network engineers maintain the complexity of data network and ensure that data can go across the network with maximum efficiency and transparency. And also, network management always helps you to plan for a disaster recovery, where you can have almost close to zero downtime, the way network management try to inform and alert about an upcoming problem and help troubleshooting a problem. So FCAP's core framework, fault configuration, accounting, performance, security, has a lot of in-depth features which are all covered in Cisco Prime LMS. So what product family CiscoWorks comes with? It is CiscoWorks LMS or Cisco Prime LMS is a tool or an application which simplifies and automates tasks associated with day-to-day management, inventory, configuration, software deployment, troubleshooting tasks. You name it and it had it. Supports a broad range of Cisco devices down to the interface level, detailed reporting, monitoring, and configuration. Provides a detailed visibility of users, ports, network connectivity, topology services, user tracking, inventory, and it also helps you automate the change management process, quickly identifying hardware, software, and configuration changes. So till now, I'm only talking about CiscoWorks. I just wanted to make sure that this is not this is a technical presentation, and we'll start with it very shortly. And this is not marketing presentation. So bundle of CiscoWorks, when it got started, it had different set of modules, which were designed in terms of FCAPS, and every module represented one or the other aspect of FCAPS. Like fault management was responsible for representing fault. Configuration management was under resource manager, and so on. So the architecture is actually based on client, servers, and agent. We have the CiscoWorks server, and agents are the network host devices, and clients are the machines. Clients can communicate with the servers directly to give the information and update them. And so this is the functional architecture, how CiscoWorks work. We can have a multi-server trust environment where we can plan for any kind of high availability or disaster recovery. It uses a lot of protocols to communicate to the devices, be it SNMP, Telnet, SSH, TFTP, RCP, SCP, and HTTPS. So we have included all kind of communication channel which CiscoWorks can use to communicate to a device so that it can effectively manage one or the other part of the network. So here we can see the user authentication and authorization can also be included by using pluggable authentication modules. PAM, pluggable authentication modules are available for the network devices as well as the CiscoWorks server, where there can be a centralized authentication and authorization database, so that we don't have to make new usernames for CiscoWorks every time. Also, Cisco servers are connected to Cisco.com and to the client's machines, so that CiscoWorks can fetch essential details, check for regular updates of the device packages and software, and the users can multiple users can easily connect to CiscoWorks server and check various kind of reports they are responsible for, and take different actions on the network. So, features and benefit. I'm sure this slide is self-explanatory because it has all the information. Till this slide, we have discussed about a lot of benefits using Cisco Prime or CiscoWorks. So monitoring and troubleshooting is one of them, where we can proactively identify quick fix network problems before they affect end users and services with out-of-box pre-configured monitoring dashboards. It also helps us in configuration management, compliance, and audit, which is very important nowadays because in today implementing consistent policies across the network and enforcing control over configuration changes, it's very important. Also, it is important to adhere to various conflict policies. Comprehensive reporting is one of the most important features where it has all the reports available in one window. Evolution of Cisco Prime LMS. I understand many people might be using CiscoWorks since the time of its inception into market. Earlier, it used to known as CiscoWorks 2000, then CiscoWorks. The name CiscoWorks continued till the version of 3.x series, and after which it became a part of Cisco Prime for Enterprise, where the LMS 4.0 started, and now being a part of Cisco Prime infrastructure. CiscoWorks Cisco Prime LMS 4.2, which we'll be covering in our slides today. So what is Cisco Prime LMS? It is a Cisco Prime LAN management solution offered as a part of Cisco Prime infrastructure. It is capable of managing and simplifying the configuration, compliance, monitor, and it also simplifies the management of the borderless network. So Cisco Prime 4.2, as in the specific version we'll be covering today, has the most important 5 functional areas under which all the other options and features are categorized. So each function will be categorized under monitoring and troubleshooting, configuration management, compliance, comprehensive reporting, and work centers. Installing Cisco Prime LMS. So installing Cisco Prime LMS has never been so easy. Previously, it used to take around 1 or more hours to complete the entire installation, but with Cisco Prime LMS 4.2, we have done a lot of architectural overhaul where it takes only 15 to 20 minutes, and we call this process as quick install. These are the supported operating systems which can be used to install CiscoWorks. These information are available in Cisco.com, or you can check Cisco.com Prime website. So, quick install is when we used to take a lot of time. We used latest technologies so that we can have a multi-threaded installation on the operating system, and we can install multiple modules together. A quick install reduce getting more number of input from the end user. It requires only 8 to 10 input in Solaris or Unix or Linux boxes, and in Windows there are only 2-3 different clicks which are available, and it is ready to install. Instead of getting more number of password for admin systems, system identity, cache user, database, there are so many internal users and internal applications which requires a username password. This quick install helps us to provide the username and password only once, and it can reuse all of them, and that too after the permission of the installing user. You have an option to create all these passwords separately by your choice. So combine the number of user per action information into single dialog box, which is known as prerequisite. It can itself analyze what operating system you are using, what are the processor, what is the number of cores, what is the swap or RAM size, is the server meeting prerequisite, and this will help. This helps eliminating a lot of problems after installation, because many people, once they complete the installation, they start facing a problem that the daemons are not starting, CiscoWorks is not behaving, or even they're not able to access it using HTTP or the browser. So quick install for Windows. Right now I have only information about Windows and 2 screens which are dedicated for Unix and the Linux boxes. Prerequisite for LMS combined, it has combined all the prerequisite messages like disabling antiviruses, installing from a network drive, and DHCP service enabled. It has a setup dialog box and a reboot dialog box. These are the minimum 3 information in Windows it shows while doing a installation. So following default screens have changes in install. We can also enter mail setting pages that have moved from getting launched. We can launch 4.2 and we can view the email setting screens. We now don't ask any information for self-signed certificate, because it is created randomly at the backend. So everything which has been done to do a quick install is to make sure that after a few clicks, your CiscoWorks is ready and available for install. So as soon as we double click on the exe image, it can give us a warning that is optional if III is enabled, and it will be using port 443. In case CiscoWorks is not able to use port 443, it can ask you to change and define a different port number which will be enabled, and the client can use that port number to connect to CiscoWorks. Prerequisite warning, or when there are so if the server does not meet prerequisite, then it will be giving these errors. Swap space is not configured, or any other error which is not meeting the prerequisites. If everything is fine, it will just ask you. It will just show you a prerequisite warning message that they are met and satisfied. You just need to accept the license. Installation can begin from there, and you can also enter the login password from there. Once the prerequisites are met and it has started installing, then there are no further user input are required, and it will just show you this installation completed window. It will have the log file to be viewed. You can view the health monitor details, which will show you the hardware information about swap, the processor, and the available disk space, which are required and what is available on the server, so that in case you need to plan it for future, you can. And the reboot dialog box, where you can select you want to reboot or reboot later. This quick install becomes so easy to install it on a Solaris or a soft appliance, because you just have to you just have a couple of prompts where you have to accept the license agreement, and you have to go for the installation either in the custom mode. So this is the next screen where quick in Solaris or soft appliance. So like Windows password screens are reduced and getting one login password from the user and using the same. Provided the new prompt database password which can be reused login password and database password, else system will generate a random password. So like we saw in Windows, we have a checkbox from where we can reuse the same username and password. Here we get an option if we want to accept yes or no to reuse or create randomly generated password. Reinstall. For reinstall, like if you have already installed and you want to install another Cisco Prime box, LMS supports reinstallation of product in Windows. So for example, if you have 4.2 installed and for some reason you think that you need to reinstall it, you don't need to uninstall the entire Cisco Prime and do the installation again. You can simply rerun the executable file and then it will rewrite the entire installation if there is any problem. So reinstallation process of LMS 4.2 are same because it will be the same executable script and would be asking the same information. Reinstallation is not supported in Linux. It's because it is a open virtual format file which needs to be deployed on a virtual machine, virtual server. So you cannot use a already used OVA or OVF file on top of other. Configuring Cisco Prime LMS. Objectives. We will be logging into the portal for the first time. So once the installation is completed, how the screen would look like. Explore and customize the dashboard in the My menu, manage portlets, change the portal layout, manage the network device inventory, manage network device configurations, monitor and troubleshoot the network, use the work centers to perform complete lifecycle management and perform advanced administration tasks in the CiscoWorks LMS. To be honest, this slide covers entirely everything which we can do using CiscoWorks. As soon as your CiscoWorks is installed, as soon as it is installed, this is all what we want to do using CiscoWorks. So I would also share a live server so that I can show you how it looks like once the installation is completed and how once the installation is completed and how the options look like, so that we stand in the same page how in a real environment how the CiscoWorks looks in a real environment. First login page which looks like this. The first login page which shows following details. This is the navigation menu. This is the navigation menu where if anyone has used CiscoWorks in the older days, it used to be a combination of several modules listed on one particular page. So for example, one entire browser sliced into different small squares, and each square would be representing one module. Now, because of the overall architectural change since 4.0, we wanted to implement, we want to project this as a one network management software, not a collection of modules. So all the options were smartly integrated into 5 main categories: configuration, inventory, monitor, reports, administration, and it has certain work centers and a My menu option. In My menu, you can it can help you to have the portals of your choices, to have an embedded links of your choices, and also have a quick launch using some URLs of your choices. I will be showing this in the live demo on my server. So this is a universal search bar which is capable of searching any information from CiscoWorks, be it a IP address, be it a host name, be it a end host MAC address which is on your network, end host IP address, and it also supports wildcard characters so that you can search the other details. So uh, with every new release, we show the new features which are integrated to the new releases, be it a patch upgrade or the major release of CiscoWorks. By clicking here, you'll be able to see what are the new features, and there will be certain training information available for them. So these are the minimum options to run, make your LMS run. That means these are the minimum configuration values which you need to enter on your CiscoWorks so that it is operational. Though it is operational out of the box, as soon as you have installed CiscoWorks on a server and you have it has a dedicated IP, you can use any browser from the reachable network to access CiscoWorks and start adding the devices. But again, there are certain basic details you need to enter here. Keeping in mind, maybe it can be an upgrade from a previous version, so you may have some old data still available, or you may be starting with it for the first time, and hence you can mention some of the details like the email server using which it can send you emails, backup information, device management information, and certain system settings. So it is self-administrative tasks available here. In case people are using an older version of CiscoWorks and they built a new server, or they uninstalled and installed a fresh version of 4.2, but they have some data backup available from the older version of CiscoWorks, the migration process is very helpful because say you have a older version of CiscoWorks 3.2 running, which has almost 1,000 devices, and you have a lot of inventory information, configuration of those devices past so many years, and you have software images of those devices. You have a lot of custom-based templates, custom-based groups, and a lot of policies which you want to be carried over to this new version of software. It does not make sense for many people to start over afresh. Hence, the data migration helps you to carry the entire data and get it integrated to the newest version of software, and then it will be a new skin with old soul and new features. So talking about the system settings, these are the minimum system settings where it is optimized to receive a minimum input. We can see the updates, license information, and other details directly. For those who have installed the evaluation version directly from the installation and have not installed the license, we can enter the license information from here. This is a single page to set authentication mode, email server setting, proxy setting, backup, RCP, and SCP settings. System settings. As soon as you click on system settings, you'll be able to update the license. I'm just trying to show it live so that I can share my window. Just allow me 1 minute. So in the meantime, I will be sharing my desktop. I'll continue with the presentation. So we can update the license. We can also we can have the authentication setting. Authentication helps you to define a different attacks radius or AD server, which can help you authenticate the users logging into Prime LMS. Email server, you can enter the SMTP server administrator ID. Administrator email ID is the email address which will be used as a the from address from CiscoWorks. We can also enable email attachment because many jobs which we are running, consider we want to run a job to see how many syslog in my core device is generated every day, and every day I want to see the severity 1 syslog messages or severity 2, severity 3 syslog messages. I have scheduled a job which runs every morning so that once I come to office, I am able to see that severity 1 syslogs from my device, from my core device. Configuring that job, it will also be able to send an email attachment with a CSV or a PDF format if we have enabled the email attachment. If we don't enable the email attachment, it will only send us a link, clicking on which we'll have to see it in a browser. Also, from the minimum information you need, it is the Cisco.com credentials, which are required by CiscoWorks to check updates for the devices and to check certain other details when it contacts Cisco.com, like downloading a software for your Cisco for your network devices. If your network uses a proxy to connect to internet, which is required to connect to Cisco.com, then you can enter the proxy server name, the port, the username and password if it's an authenticated proxy. System settings. Here you can actually define the backup settings. The backup is essential to be taken. The backup is essential because it takes a lot of information from your CiscoWorks and keeps your CiscoWorks ready for any kind of disaster recovery in case it goes down. We'll be covering backup in future slides. So, other information, RCP and SCP, CiscoWorks can communicate to your devices using RCP or SCP for transferring data, like transferring configuration images, deploying of configuration images, taking or transferring the software images. Getting started, device management. So device allocation setting is to be auto-allocated for the device management function. As I said in my initial slides, CiscoWorks is following FCAPs, and all those aspects of FCAPs, fault, configuration, performance, they have been now made as the top management functions. So under which all the other options are available as sub-menu. So these device management functions like fault monitor or layer 2 topology. So if we are running a multi-server environment where I want server A to run only fault management and server 2 to run only layer 2 topology services, so that I can keep minimum traffic generated from those servers, and they are responsible for one single individual task. So in this case, we can have the device allocation settings. I will show you the window from where we can enable or disable different kind of management functions. And now the final portion where it comes to managing devices is by adding them. So CiscoWorks has two options to add devices: manual and discovery. We'll be talking about the discovery later. But as soon as you add a device, CiscoWorks can start monitoring for all the aspects. By default, all the device management functions are enabled. Once I show you that in my live server, it will be easier for you to understand. So now in this slide, you can see that these are the main management functions of CiscoWorks: inventory and config management, topology services, fault information, IPSLA, and device performance management. So under these 5 main category devices, the functions are segregated. For example, for topology services, layer 2 services, and user tracking, if you remove this from one server, if you uncheck this box, you will not see a topology service database running. We will not be able to see the user tracking information, that is end host information. So likewise, we can enable and disable these management functions, and these the sub technologies and sub features inside these management functions will also get enabled or disabled from here. By default, inventory and config and image management is checked, and we cannot remove it. So secondary credentials. CiscoWorks uses secondary credentials. So when you add a device, it will be asking for username and password, which it can use to log into the devices. But in case those device credentials are incorrect or they keep on changing or it has some policy of deactivation, um, it can also use secondary credentials which it can use to log into Cisco devices. Device addition, adding devices to DCR, it's very important and very simple. We can add the credential, we can manually add a device, which we'll be discussing later, and we can add using by running a device discovery. When we manually add a device, we just have to enter a few details, which is the IP, the minimum information we need to enter to add a device is to enter the IP address and the credentials. The minimum information required in terms of credential is SNMP read-only community string to manage the device. Because the first communication which happens between a device and CiscoWorks is using the SNMP communication. If there is an older version of CiscoWorks running, we have an option to export the devices and their information into a CSV file or an XML file, which can be imported directly to a fresh server. So for example, you are running a server A with the older version of CiscoWorks, and you have around 100 devices on it. You can select all those 100 devices and click on an option of exporting devices and their details, like their credentials, their host name, their domain name, and then the same CSV or XML file can be used to import all the information for the devices. So the new server, which will import it from the older server, will also have the same number of devices with the same credentials, login credentials, and the IP addresses. Getting started, user management. Managing roles and managing user are two most essential things. You don't want everyone to have the administrator's capability in CiscoWorks, and neither you want everyone to be a help desk user who is not able to perform most of the actions. So when you manage roles, you are able to define what access level does one user have inside CiscoWorks. So this is how we can add. Once you click here in Manage Users or Manage Roles, you'll see this window from where we can add. There are by default these 6 roles available: Help Desk, Network Operator, Approver, Network Administrator, System Administrator, and Super Admin. There's a test user. You can also create other user-defined role where you can define an access to what kind of authorization level one user may have. For example, there are 2 users, user A and user B. User B is able to do anything on CiscoWorks. That means he will have a super admin role where he can go to fault and generate a report. He can go to config archive. He can make a changes and deploy a configuration on the device. He can run an inventory job. He can collect IPSLA statistics. He can do anything. But on a customized role, say if you remove the checkbox from the option of generating a report for inventory, the user may be able to do everything except he will not be able to generate a report for inventory. So these options are available, and I will be showing you that live in my server when I come to demo. Manager, by default, there are only 2 users available by default on Cisco as soon as it is installed. So admin and guest. The admin username and password is set, as well as the guest username and password is set during the time of installation. We can edit. Admin has an option to reset the password or modify the details of any other users inside CiscoWorks. Rest all of the users will be the other users who have admin role for them, they will also be able to modify the profiles and reset the password. Rest all the other kind of role, they are only able to change their details and reset their password from CiscoWorks option. So software and device update. This is one of the most important topic, because Cisco software team, they keep on releasing different software updates for this CiscoWorks. They may be in terms of they may be in terms of device packet updates, MDF data updates, or an entire suite of a new minor release like 4.2.1, 4.2.2. It can check for software and device updates, and we can install them. So, for example, currently we are running 4.2.0, and if there's a new version available, 4.2.1, if we check using CiscoWorks, it will be able to check and find that there is a new patch release available, and we can download it, and we can plan a maintenance window so that we can upgrade that. Any kind of software or device update shuts the daemons down, so it is always required to plan in advance when you want to go for an update, because it will be able then we can have we'll have some downtime expected. So software and device update. Now we'll be talking about discovery, where we'll be discussing how to go for discovery, what all modules it selects. So discovery is a process where CiscoWorks server starts communicating to your entire network and starts counting what all devices it is able to communicate with, what all devices, those devices who responds with proper credentials are added to CiscoWorks database so that they can be managed. CiscoWorks will only manage those devices, only network devices, and not the end host in the discovery. So it may find out various IP addresses, but it won't manage everything. It will only communicate to the network devices. The very standard procedure it uses is the CDP table. It will communicate to device A. It will check the CDP neighbor details about the other devices. From the CDP neighbor table entry, it will try to check. It will communicate that new device. It will again check the CDP neighbor table entry, and this continues for a long time. There are very robust algorithm which knows when to stop and when the device discovery is entirely over. There are certain other modules and different protocols which can be used to discover the devices, like the routing table, HSRP, OSPF table. We can use a ping sweep and other modules. So the discovery has evolved, and it's very robust. Standard discovery is a part of Cisco Prime LMS 4.2, which gives you minimum, which allows you with the minimum efforts to start discovering your network devices. So the discovery make uses of below protocols in specified order for discovering the devices: CDP, LLDP, routing table, and ARP. To configure standard devices input, we have to provide a default gateway. That is the first device we need to the default gateway of the server. We need to use DCR as the seed device, and seed devices can be provided by the user. So seed device is the first device which is contacted by CiscoWorks. After a fresh installation, when we don't expect CiscoWorks to have any device information in its database, it is always good to give our core devices. We can add multiple seed devices. So it is like my CiscoWorks resides somewhere, and my CiscoWorks resides somewhere in the network, and I gave my core device IP address as the seed device, it will communicate to it, and by using all these protocols, CDP, LLDP, routing table, ARP information, it will try and learn the other device information, and the process would continue till the time the discovery is over. Standard discovery, we can put the IP range to star.star.star so that it is not restricted. We can also have a customized discovery by providing a specific IP range on which we want to discover the network. Standard discovery would also include adding of SNMP community string. SNMP community string is most important because all the communication with the devices would happen using SNMP, be it checking the routing table, be it checking the LLDP information or CDP. This communication would happen using SNMP. Standard the fallback to user has checked from option SNMP v3 to v2. So for those network who are using SNMP v3 as a newly implemented protocol for SNMP, and they are also running SNMP v2, but their preferred option is SNMP v3, they can enter SNMP v2 and check the box for SNMP v3 to v2c fallback, so that in case SNMP v3 fails for a device, CiscoWorks can still use SNMP v2 credentials to communicate to them. Default credential set option is applied to selected credentials to device discovered, and that will be added to DCR. We can make a set of credential and we can use that default credential set. So when a new device is added, and and CiscoWorks has communicated to it using SNMP properly, it will not be it will be able to add the default credential sets with other credentials like telnet, SSH, HTTP or HTTPS. So after entering all the other information, we can just click on Start Discovery. It is as simple as that, just providing minimum information to CiscoWorks to go and find the devices. So once it is in a hunt to find all the network devices, at the end of discovery, it will continuously updating this screen where we can refresh and see how many devices has been discovered, how many of them are reachable, how many are newly added to device. If the device is already if CiscoWorks has already some of the devices on the network. So and if as soon as the discovery is over, it will calculate what are the existing devices in the DCR already, that is device and credential repository, and it will hand over the newly found devices from the total list of devices it has found. So here is the option to run a standard discovery or the custom discovery. Standard discovery would have minimum options for discovery, like the routing. We cannot use OSPF, BGP, or other protocols, and we cannot have different device credential sets. A custom discovery would give us more options in terms to find the devices and search them in a better way. Smart interactions. I wanted to cover smart interaction pretty early because this is one of the latest features in Cisco Prime, and before you actually I see that many people would be have just started working on Cisco Prime. Anytime you feel there is a problem, anytime you feel that you need a support for CiscoWorks, the Smart Interaction tool helps you to overcome any problem you may encounter while dealing with CiscoWorks. So the key key usage of smart interaction is, in one word, it is like CiscoWorks has got self-diagnostic feature, and it can help you diagnose the problem of. It's not about the network devices, but it's about itself. Like if you think CiscoWorks is not behaving properly, or some of the devices are not behaving properly, you need a help from other peoples to look at, or you need a help from Cisco TAC, you can directly open a case, or you can also check Cisco support community, which will allow you to check for similar issues if anyone has faced from Cisco support communities. So this has significant time savings for IT operators, because from here we can search Cisco support community. Also, we can raise case, and also we can add required information. So as soon as we click on the smart case, which is the bottom of the screen, there's a small mouse over pop-up which comes up. It will be asking for your username and password if you haven't set so, to connect to cisco.com, and from here we can easily create a new case, and this is about creating a TAC case with Cisco TAC, where they will be able to assist and help. So now we can also open the support case by searching for a device. When we search for a device, mouse over on that device information would yield various options, and we can click on support cases. It like in this example, we can see Cisco support community, and it has found some of the known issues with the device. So now we jump. We are done with the standard operation of CiscoWorks. We have till now discussed how to install it. As soon as we log in, what is the minimum information we need to enter to make it operational? How to add devices, because only after adding the devices we will CiscoWorks will start working properly. And so once the devices are added and CiscoWorks is good to go, the other features we want to manage. The other features which are essential for CiscoWorks to manage the devices will have these features are inventory management and the other functional areas. The other functional areas like configuration, inventory, and fault management. Let's begin with inventory management. Inventory management is one of the first basic thing CiscoWorks does to collect the information about the devices. So overview of inventory management, Cisco View. The inventory management in Cisco Prime LMS groups various activities in LMS involved in managing inventory of the network devices, and we can also access these features from the inventory menu in the Cisco Prime LMS page homepage. So there are certain inventory tools which are available, like Cisco View, using which we can view the chassis view directly, and every individual device, every individual management function also gives us every management functions also have their own dedicated dashboard, using which we can have the most important portlets, so that as soon as we want to see the dashboard for inventory, what software version we are running on our network, how many switches, how many routers, how many security devices, what is the number of the iOS versions on those devices, and so on. So inventory dashboard may have different kind of portlets, which is discrepancy portlet, device change audit portlet. Discrepancy would show what it will show It will provide a report on discrepancies on the discovered network. That means a device which is discovered, if that has any discrepancy in terms of physical connectivity or from the standard Cisco's configuration. For example, say a full duplex Ethernet port is connected to a half duplex. It is a discrepancy, and there would be the discrepancy portlet would be showing such events to the user. Device change audit portlet would represent the data of change audit from the syslog, which has been forwarded from the device to CiscoWorks, like how many, which is the user who configured from the CLI and what kind of other activities are going on the device. Hardware and software summary would show the number of devices in terms of hardware, what all platforms. Software will show us the different software version information. A calendar portlet is a very simple portlet which includes which has which has a calendar, and it can also summarize a job summary grid on which we can see what are the jobs scheduled for the current day. So we have a polling question for those who are already using CiscoWorks in the network.
Polling question. What is the preferred or existing OS for LMS in your network? Is it A, Windows, B, Solaris, C, an OVA or OVF image on a Linux shell, D, you're not using Cisco Prime LMS?
So time to show my desktop for what we have discussed till now. So this is the calendar. This is the calendar portlet which we just discussed. I hope everyone is able to see my desktop now. So as soon as we log into CiscoWorks, I wanted to show you the first Prime screen. As soon as we enter it, it is the getting started window from where we can check the data migration process. Data migration is nothing but it is the procedure. It is just the procedure because it needs to be done when the CiscoWorks is shut down. System settings, where we can apply the license information, credentials, and other details. Device management, where we can allocate devices and we can enable or disable the management functions. Device details, device addition, where we can run a custom discovery. We can define the policies, credential sets, and user management, about managing the roles of different kind of roles. So for example, if we want to see if we want to edit this role, we will be able to see how many from these points. We'll be able to see what all we want to give a user authorization level to if he is a member of test. So for example, right now the user would only be able to do anything inside inventory, and rest all these unchecked boxes would not be allowed to any member who comes into the role of test. Managing users, from where we can add or edit. We can add or edit the profiles of the different users inside the CiscoWorks, and these are the details of available for software update. So as I said, we can have a dedicated dashboard. These are the most important. These mouse hovers are the most important functions. Configuration, which is responsible for configuring the devices. Inventory, which is responsible for adding or importing or doing the inventory management for the devices. And in my menu, we can have different dashboard. In our dashboard, we can set a test URL, which will take you to a different URL which you configure. A test embedded means you can have an embedded website. This is very important when you want to have embedded other softwares integrated within CiscoWorks. So your CiscoWorks still remains inside, but you can add a URL of a different website or a different application, which can be cross-launched from here. You can manage your manage the dashboards from here, like test this embedded. We can change the URL to anything, and we'll be able to see it here. So, for example, if we are running different different uh, different application, we can enter the application IP address and access URLs here. So it's good to see that most of the people from the audience are using Windows, and very little of them are using Solaris. Seems the future is on the virtualization, so not very less are using the OV or OVF version, the virtualized format of CiscoWorks. Going back to the slides. So tools in the inventory menu. Cisco View, Armon. Cisco View, as I said, it can show us information about the chassis view. We can see the device as it is in front of us, like we are looking into the device live. We have a lot of options to configure the devices from chassis view. Cisco View is a very simple application under inventory, which is a tool using which we can configure and we can see the devices as it is. It requires device packages, so some of the device packages, if are not updated, it will show unsupported here. Like I'm running a NAM3, which is not showing because the device packages aren't updated or the device it is not supported. So chassis view is also helpful to configure or monitor the device for bandwidth and other utilization details, which is known as Mini Armon. Armon Manager provides web-enabled real-time remote monitoring information, and it facilitates troubleshooting and improve network availability. So it is a real-time remote monitoring tool, so it will be communicating in real time using SNMP, and we can see the details of the traffic or the traffic which is flowing in a device or a Ethernet interface or any other interfaces. So we need to configure alarm from Armon. We can also configure alarms and threshold on the device using Mini Armon, so that we can also use it for troubleshooting. Alarm source shows indicator whether the device as a whole or on port that device is source of an alarm. So for example, if an interface is not working properly, then it can give us an alarm using Mini Armon, and we have to set rising and falling threshold after which. So for example, if we are monitoring bandwidth of an interface, and I want to check that once this interface crosses 80% of its utilization, I need an alert. So this is where rising threshold would come into action, and as soon as the rising threshold is reached, it will generate an alarm, and I want to inform that after 60% of its utilization, the falling threshold would start. That means the situation has gone back to normal. So Mini Armon, we can launch directly using Cisco View. We can check this live in a graph. We can check them using the monitor option. Using the monitor option for the interfaces, we can directly check the graph, and we can also receive an alert if we configure Armon on the devices. Configuring Armon is also very simple. We can click on the device, click on alarm, and from the alarm options, and we can configure a device and any other rising threshold, falling threshold, and all the other details which are required on that particular device and its interfaces. Device Center is again a very important tool, which shows the device and its details. So I want to show Device Center directly here. So this is how we can access the tools. We can check Device Center where it can show a lot of information about a particular device, its reachability status, its configuration details, port status, the name, the software it is running, CPU utilization for the processors, a lot of other details, reachability, events, fault, ports, and we can also use this portal for troubleshooting because it has a lot of tools from where we can do a packet capture, we can configure mini Harmon, we can do proxy ping, we can SNMP walk, we can try to do telnet SSH. It has some of the most important tasks of CiscoWorks available here. That is analyze using cisco.com image, analyzing repository, open a tag case for this device, run a show command to collect a show output, sync archive, config pending job, and we can also generate a lot of essential reports, which are which are collected by CiscoWorks for this device. So we'll see some of the slides here. So tools and tasks and reports which are available to troubleshoot using Device Center. So key takes for the Device Center is it provides device-centric view of CiscoWorks application. It provides device-oriented navigation paradigm for features and information. It can show the summary and reports of the selected device. We can invoke various tools. We can cross-launch Cisco View from there. We can view small topology maps, and we can troubleshoot connectivity. Now we jump on the configuration management, which is also one of the most important aspect of FCAPS. So under configuration, we see a lot of options, but I would like everyone to keep this in mind that all these options are available to configure one or the other thing, no matter how different they sound, be it net config. So anything related to device and its configuration is under configuration function. Also, along with the configuration function, we have the software image management, which is a sub-feature of configuration. So anything which is anything which is related to configuration is usually comes under configuration management. So what are the objectives? We want to see how to manage configuration archive. We want to verify configuration compliance using configuration tools to troubleshoot anything related to configuration, and we want to see the configuration workflows. Configuration management allows us to manage, deploy, and modify the configuration file used by devices on the network. So we can do a lot of different types of configuration. We can configure VLANs. We can configure VSS directly from CiscoWorks. So this is the page, the main configuration page. Accessing configuration menu is very simple. We can just mouse over on the configuration functional, and we can launch this page. So the first thing, how do I collect configuration from my device? When there are hundreds of devices in my network, I want each of them to have a backup so that in case of any device goes down, I will be able to replace it with the exact same configuration. Also, I will be able to put them into, I will be able to replace them without the hassle of configuring it into a TFTP server, because CiscoWorks is tracking each change and it's collecting all the information. So inside configuration, we can view the summary of how many devices have their configuration saved and how many have failed. We can compare configs. We can check the protocol usage. From this menu, we can have the synchronization to run a sync job, and we can also check the label configs. The labeled configs are those CiscoWorks, if it continuously keep on backing up the configuration for all the devices, it may end up using a lot of disk space. So there are options to purge the older configurations as per the policies, like holding after a specific number, or purging after a specific number, or purging after a specific time. So if you don't want to delete a configuration which you think is a standard template for those platform devices, you can just label those config, and once it is labeled, no matter what purging job you run, purging job will not remove it unless we run a specific job to remove it. So the simplest way to configure a job to collect the configuration for one device is to go to configuration, go to synchronization, click on synchronization. With the new page which is coming, we can select the device. I'm selecting all devices because I have only one test device attached to it. So we have the options. Poll device before configuration collection means polling. If the configuration for the device is already collected, then it will just check the timestamp. It will match the timestamp with the existing configuration in the database, and if it does not see any configuration changes, it will not complete the job, because it will find that they both have the same version of configuration running. If you don't select this, it will blindly go to device and run the entire procedure to collect the details.
Vinod, sorry to interrupt, but we are actually out of time for the presentation portion, and we need to move on to the Q&A portion.
Okay.
So perhaps you can maybe do a recording of the rest of the presentation, and then we can always post that in the Cisco support community for the audience to view later.
Okay, yeah, we can. So.
Okay, excellent.
So just if we have 2 more minutes, I would just like to show them the other administrative tasks they have, which will help them to get important information from this webinar.
Okay, if you can do it quickly.
Okay, I think. So the other topics we wanted to cover during this webinar was the other management features like monitoring and admin features which are available, because everything which CiscoWorks does, it collects a lot of information about the devices, be it the end host, be it the archive changes, be it the syslog, be it the inventory changes. Everything is under report, and we can generate several reports for them to see the past information, what has happened on a particular aspect. And the slides would also cover details about monitoring, where we have Fault Monitor, which enables CiscoWorks to communicate continuously with the device to check if anything is not happening, everything is happening perfectly, and if a managed device has any issues, like a IP address configured on one of the interfaces is not responding, it may give us these alerts, and these alerts can be forwarded to us as an email, or can be forwarded to other network management servers in terms of to be processed later using syslog or SNMP traps. So we have topology services and topology services from where we can see the entire topology of the devices, how they are connected, what are the links between them, and we have some administrative tasks by which we can manage the CiscoWorks itself. These administrative tasks are mostly for managing each of these functional aspects, like how to debug a particular, how to do the debugging, and to manage the self-administrative task of the server itself, which is like making the server, how to trim the log files, how to keep the disk usage in size, how to configure the backup directory, how to update the server, how to keep SMTP server information, and also again which management functions to enable or disable. So from here on, I will give my presentation. I will hand it over to Dan so that he can continue with it. It was, I think, many things has been left uncovered in the slides. So these slides would be available after the presentations, which can be downloaded and seen. Thank you, Dan. You can continue from here.
Okay, great. Let's just try to cover a couple of Q&A questions while we have a few minutes left. Does the Cisco Prime infrastructure cover security?
Yes. Did the security for the devices or the security? I'm sorry, I put myself on mute. So security for the devices, yes. We have a lot of features in place, like syslog, giving syslogs, which can actually show us. Security is a very big context. So if it is about device security, then there is very minimum features available in CiscoWorks to restrict users to do any kind of changes. But once done, we have a lot of features in place, like looking into the change audit, checking syslogs, and using MediaNet features, TrustSec, which is TrustSec features, which are recently integrated with CiscoWorks, which will help us to mitigate any security risk on the devices. Also, we have some inventory reports. When it comes to security, it's a very huge aspect we need to talk about. It's very vague. When it comes to security, we can generate reports like PCERT reports. Now in compliance, we have organizations, as they need to leverage their business, and by by adequate security measures, we have the compliance and audit manager, which makes your device compliant to various industry standards, be it payment card industry, Cisco Security Advisory, like health and insurance industry. So there are a lot of things which CiscoWorks is capable of. We are still increasing it. In short, CiscoWorks cannot make your devices secure by creating any kind of authentication or authorization features, but it can help diagnose and restrict and mitigate any security risk on your devices.
Okay. Unfortunately, we are out of time for additional questions. However, we do have your questions captured, and we will be answering all of your technical questions in the Cisco Support Community Forum for this webcast, so please do check back. Vinod will be available over the next 2 weeks to answer those questions and any additional questions that do come in. Now, just to go through a few other closing housekeeping slides. And we do have the link into the chat as well for the Cisco Support Community area. We do have an upcoming Expert Series webcast in September in Portuguese. This is a partner webcast. The topic will be Cisco Unified Contact Center Express, Fundamentals, Configuration, and Support, and that's on Wednesday, September 4th. We have another webcast in Spanish. The topic will be New Licensing Scheme in Cisco Unified Communication Manager 9.x. That's on August 27th. We have another webcast in Russian. Topic will be Building Fault-Tolerant Site-to-Site VPNs with Cisco Adaptive Security Appliances. That will take place on Tuesday, September 3rd. And another webcast in Japanese. This topic is Cisco Telepresence Management Suite, or the Cisco TMS, MCU, and Video Communications Server, Log Analysis Tips and Methods. That will be on Tuesday, September 10th. We have a few current events happening right now in the support community. Please do check back to see all the different events that we have going on. In addition, we invite you to check out all our social networks as well, and to make sure that you are well versed in our other languages for those of you around the globe. Again, the Cisco support community can be reached at https://supportforums.cisco.com. It is free to join with any cisco.com registration. You can now rate videos, documents, and blogs and receive points in the support community. Also, don't forget to check out the Cisco Technical mobile application, which will allow you to interact with the support community from your mobile device. Oh, and we have to get to our answer for our trivia question. Chocolate and CiscoWorks Prime LAN Management Solution, what do they have in common? The correct answer was B. The Nestle food company, known for its chocolates, deployed the Cisco Prime solution on its network. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank you to our expert Vinod and our question managers. We wish you all an excellent day.